Hello and welcome back to the Azubu Collegiate Champions. I'm Alphaberg, and I'm being joined right now by my buddy Christopher Messer. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, how are you doing, Ferg? It's good to be here, and I'm excited for this upcoming match between BU and Princeton.
Absolutely, man. But first, I'm going to get a couple of promotions out there. If you guys want pizza, Azubu is throwing pizza parties for 10 lucky teams. Send in a video saying why you deserve pizza to admin at cstarleague.com. We've actually been posting those on Reddit and Facebook, so if you guys want promotion, free promotion for your team, I know some popular videos have been come out of Reddit. I saw some on the front page. I think one actually made it to the very top of the StarCraft list there, so definitely submit all that good content. Also, we will be doing beta keys for universities who get in their school newspapers for the month of November and December. Send a picture or a link to that article to admin at cstarleague.com. We have some staff openings, actually, for writers, graphic artists, and a happiness coordinator. What's that? I don't know, man. It makes me happy just reading it.
It's great.
You can apply at admin at cstarleague.com with an email titled application. Also, we have League of Legends going on right now. Divisions that have staff openings for writers, match assistants, and social media coordinators. If you want to do any of that stuff, please apply. We need all the help we can get, and then some, especially with the happiness coordinator, because I think I have some problems coordinating my own happiness. Finally, you can join us next weekend for an Azubu pizza party at IPL 5. More information is right now posted in the news on cstarleague.com, so go check it out. It's pretty good stuff, man. I wish I was going to Las Vegas to get my free pizza.
I know it, man. IPL is going to be so fun, but let's talk about this match for just a bit here. It's going to be BU versus Princeton, and BU has a pretty solid team. They don't really have many of the players from their last season, though, so they're dealing with a much newer roster. But they've been practicing their ass off, doing about 7 to 10 hours a week. That's some pretty serious stuff. So I think they're, coming into week 3 feeling pretty strong right now.
7 to 10 hours is pretty bad, but I actually talked to the Princeton coordinator. They practice 7 hours twice a week. So they do twice as much work, and they don't just focus on 1v1, man. They spread out their practice. They do troll 4v4s, they play Mafia, they play League of Legends, occasionally some 1v1s, but you got to mix up your practice, you don't want to burn out.
Yeah, they clearly have a happiness coordinator, you know what I mean? You can just tell that they have one.
I need one, man.
No, they just sound so great. But yeah, so either way, both teams practicing a lot together, playing a lot together. So that means they have some pretty good teamwork, and they're going to be able to put out some of their best players in the best scenarios. So that means some of the best games, Ferg. Pretty excited.
I'm excited too, man. These teams seem like they're definitely ready to play against each other. We'll be back after this quick commercial break with Game 1, Princeton versus Boston.
Alright guys, and we are hopping into game number 1 between Princeton and Boston University. Spawning here in the top left is going to be our Pink Terran, Patch. And he's going to be going up against Crylogic, spawning here in the top right as our blue Protoss player. So we are going to have a PvT on Tal'Darim. Ferg, talk to me.
You know what? I'm pretty excited. Really quick, I'm going to explain what's going on. This is Azubu Collegiate Champions. Azubu is an actually pretty sick sponsor right now of all esports events. They sponsor OGN League of Legends, as well as the personal sponsor of StarCraft 2 Player Violet and 2 League of Legends teams, Blaze and Frost. The C Star League is a 318 university-wide competition right now in our 5th season. Of course, new teams will be welcome to sign up when we enter our 6th season after the playoffs in February. We have over 600 teams competing right now in StarCraft 2 and League of Legends. I'm excited to see what happens this season. We're in Week 3 right now, and teams are starting to kind of thin out in the division rankings.
Yeah, I mean, some teams are already setting themselves apart. You know, teams that have been practicing and playing consistently have just been pretty much winning the whole time. So now we're starting to see those divides in the leagues. Let's talk a little bit about our first match here and the players that we have. Patch is playing for Boston University. He's a grad student in biomed, so he doesn't have as much time to devote to StarCraft, but when he does play, apparently he still does some sick, nasty stuff and has incredible macro play. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. No surprise that they put him on Tal'Darim, obviously a great macro map for that. And yeah, so they feel pretty confident in his ability to pull out solid games, despite the fact that he doesn't have as much time to play these days.
Yeah, and I talked to the coordinator, CryLogic over here, representing Princeton.
And he's going Nexus first like the baller.
He did go Nexus first, and he defined his style as undefinable. He said he can't really define his style. That's like if you go on a dating site, and the person just says, "I'm a mystery." I want to find out what that person's like, man, because that is pretty tantalizing.
Well, I know, and I guess we're about to find out right now. I guess undefined means you have balls of steel, because he is going to go Nexus first. Gateway into gas right away, and you know, if you do Nexus first, usually you want to be a little bit on the safer side and grab a second gateway. That way there you can get another Zealot out, and then, you know, Stalkers, just get those beefy gateway units out there to stop any Marine pressure. But he says, no, I'm going to hang out on one gateway, and again, that's a little bit risky, but I do like that play. We do see Patch, of course, going for a gasless expand, so he is going to be just a little bit behind economically.
Yeah, I mean, he could try to luck into getting a lot of marine damage. You can see he's building a bunker right now. It doesn't look at all like he's going to try to pressure CryLogic at all, and I think CryLogic's going to pull it off. He's balls of steel, definitely paying off as he gets a pretty safe, easy expand right now.
Yeah, I mean, the number one factor in all of that is the fact that Patch is going to scout that Nexus first, dead last rather. The SCV is just now pulling up to the Nexus. He's going to see it and kind of facepalm, because at this point he can't react to it anymore. The time has passed. He could maybe try and sneak a bunker, but with the first Zealot out, it's not really going to happen. So Patch is going to just kind of have to say, all right, I'm a little bit behind, but he's a strong macro player, so I'm sure it won't phase him too much.
Yeah, and Patch, he's, you know, setting up his production. I really like these three barracks so early. He'll be able to maintain a very consistent production. He won't be kind of sitting around, what does he spend his money on? He knows he's got, you know, bio units to build.
Yeah, no, definitely focusing on his bio units. You can even see he delayed his second gas in his base. This is the bomber style that we've been seeing for a long time now. It just means you're going to be able to get a quicker third expansion or more racks as quickly, and of course you delay your tech as a result. So we do see Patch heavily favoring you know, bio and just getting all of those minerals to make an expansion quicker. All of that good stuff, so Patch is definitely playing for the long game here. We do see CryLogic just finishing up his robotics right now, so he went one gate robo, which continues to be risky. That continues to be balls of steel on Tal'Darim. Marine pressure at the ramp is so effective, so CryLogic taking a gamble, and it's paying off.
Yeah, and you know what? He's so far ahead. He's 8 harvesters ahead. He can get even more ahead, but just by chrono boosting out those probes. I really like how he's playing right now. He's going to get a lot of scouting in right now as he's getting his first observer coming out of the robotics facility. He's got 5 gates on the way, just finished.
He rallied it to his Nexus, so I think maybe he's a little bit afraid of Cloak Banshees being a possibility, so he's kind of covering his bases. He's not going to see exactly what Patch is up to, but I mean, he can assume it's bio, and if the Cloak Banshee does fun, he'll be happy he kept that observer there. But for now, his intel is going to be just a little bit delayed, so second observer is now going to fly across the map and see what's going on.
I really like that decision to put the observer and stalker into his main. It's kind of an indication that he's familiar with this style and he knows what it's weak against. So he's not going to be caught with his pants down. He's not going to be one of those players who just kind of looks at what's happening on his game and kind of throws down his keyboard in anger that he didn't think to prepare against Cloak Banshee. He's a player that adapts to that kind of stuff. He knows what he's doing and he prevents it totally efficiently.
Yeah, no, I really did like that. I mean, I've been saying this whole game how Krylog has been playing risky, and he has definitely taken risks, but that was one nice part about his build to ensure that he was going to be absolutely safe. I mean, he cut corners to get the quick robotics facility, so he kind of made up for it a little bit by keeping that first observer in his base in order to not lose any probes, so I really like his play. He's going to be getting a robotics bay pretty quickly. It's about halfway done. He's not getting any upgrades, so we could be seeing a Nexus first into a Colossus all-in right now, which would be pretty devastating.
Yeah, and you can see back in Patch's base, he's just finishing up the starport now with the reactor right there, and he's going to have a tough decision, you know, does he build medevacs or does he build Vikings? He definitely wants the medevacs, but for every medevac out, it's one less Viking, and there can be a lot of Colossus played right in this kind of build.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and it's going to be up to Patch to scout what's going on, because the Protoss could... Oh, and actually... It looks like Krylog is going to take a quick third base, so did not actually expect that. No Forge down just yet, so he's just going to get Colossus and hang out on his gateway units. Definitely a solid composition. Expect him to start upgrades in the near future, but that Nexus is going to be a huge, huge benefit coming into the later mid stages of the game if he can hold on to it effectively.
Yeah, and here comes that push with the Bio Ball. There's no medevacs on the field. There should be two getting there just in time, but these Marines don't even have combat shields finished yet. The concussive shells is not finished. There is stim, but this is kind of the very bare bones Terran army, and if that Colossus gets out in good position, if force fields come out in good angles, especially on this ramp, that can be a huge loss, and he has to be very careful right now because the Colossus is in position. There's the Guardian Shield.
Yeah, but he does chase him away. Crylogic has incredible observer placement right now, and actually Stim, he's going to actually chase out some of these stalkers, and there's not enough force fields actually. Zealous needs to do some tanking, but the arc was really good. Patch actually going to back off. I respect that decision. He doesn't want to fully commit. He knows that if maybe a couple of sentries were warped in and his army got sliced off, that would be the end of this game essentially, but I really like Krylogic's observer placement. Patch, it would be great for him to snipe that if he does see it, but Krylogic is keeping that perfectly still, does not want to draw too much attention to it, and right as I say that, he kind of moves it around, but...
Hold that thought, look at the third here. Somehow that Nexus got cancelled, and a factory is now sitting in position.
Wow.
So that is going to be hugely detrimental to what Krylogic was trying to do. If that Nexus had completed, he would just have one more position on the map where he could mine. He could get his third set up right now. Could be fully mining, but it's not going to be. This factory is going to be there, and Krylogic can't take it out without risking a run-by into his natural.
Yeah, you know what I think happened is I think Krylogic realized, okay, you're pushing with a pretty scary bio army, and it looks like if you have this many units, you haven't taken your third. And on Tal'Darim, it's kind of hard to hold your third against Terran, so he just said, you know what, going to cancel it, not taking any big risks here. And, you know, as a result, he's a little bit down in supply and unfortunately in upgrades as well. So the decision to not get a Forge earlier is starting to hurt him just a little bit coming into the later stages of the game. Patch's third command center is going to finish up, but Krylogic has a cute little pylon waiting for him at the third base.
Yeah. And it looks like this is going to be quite the dance between these two players, between Protoss and Tyrant. Back at home, Patch is starting to take his third. He's totally set up. There's a pylon blocking as well. Both of these players really trying to keep the other on two bases for as long as possible. I think that Krylogic here is going to be able to set up his Nexus, but at what cost is his army is now way out of position.
Yeah, this is where Tal'Darim starts to get a little bit scarier for Protoss. Patch is now starting to make his Vikings, and that little valley between the natural and the third base, the Vikings can kind of just sit on that perch and pick away at the Colossus unless your positioning is absolutely flawless at all times. So Krylogic, I actually really like his decision to move out into the mid, grab this watchtower, because like I said, if you have those Colossus hanging out between your natural and your third base, it is a party for those Vikings.
And look at how forward Krylogic's army is. What happens if there's a drop right now in his main? He might be able to clean it up with warpins, but he's going to lose some of these tech structures like the Forge and the Twilight Council. His main isn't even fully scouted right now. He's definitely playing with balls of steel. He's getting his third set up now, but he definitely has vulnerabilities in his play that could be exploited by Patch. He's doing just a good job of staying solid in his play style. He does need to transition, though. He's only on 2-2 bio. He's just getting Vikings. Really low tech right now, and if Patch can get his third set up, can get maybe some storms on the way. He could really do a lot of damage to Patch's bio army.
Yeah, I think that Patch has recognized the fact that Crylogic has 3 and now 4 Colossus. I'm not sure if he caught 4, but he knows that he doesn't need to get Ghost too quickly. Now that he's getting his third base with the geysers established, that is a really good time to start getting Ghosts because you just get an influx of those resources.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised to see a Ghost Academy come down very soon. And we actually do see the Templar Archives coming down for Crylogic, which is going to be necessary. And we do see the Ghost Academy following shortly after. So both of these players actually having really good macro timings here.
And really good senses, and really good sense of what's going on in the game. Crylogic now is starting to focus on his upgrades, getting that 1-1 on the way. Blink just finished, Charges on the way, along with a healthy dose of Zealots. It looks like Patch he's maxed right now. If he's going to try to push, and if he can take down a base, if he can get a drop and take out some of that tech, he can get some pretty intelligent damage on the pretty stable army. Crylogic can't really extend right now.
This is Patch's moment to strike because his 2-2 is finishing along with his +1 for Vikings. 1-1 just finished for Crylogic, but his Templar Archives just finished, so no Storm yet, and Charge is only halfway, and we do see the Vikings already pick away the Colossus. This is exactly what I was talking about, and they don't really have enough protection. There we go, the Stalkers do blink in, and now a huge stim, and it looks like Patch has just so much buy right now, and he continues to pick away at this Colossus. It's such a great engagement for our Terran player.
Yeah, really good kiting. We see some excellent force fields there, allowing the Zealots to get in here and do damage. The Vikings are cleaned up with a nice stim and run and taking out all of the Colossus, and this is getting really deadly. The bio is starting to clean up the army here. Another wave of Zealots getting in here, pulling the probes, and this bio army is getting pretty low on HP, but if it takes out all the units, I mean, this Nexus is almost undefended right now, and wow, GG.
Wow. So the game ends in a flash just like that. Patch macroing like a beast the entire game, hits his 2-2 timing with the +1 Viking ship weapons, picks away at those Colossus just as planned basically, and dismantles our Protoss player who also played a great game. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dangerous. And really, that third was not set up at all. The gas was just finishing as that push came out. And that's why he was so late on getting the Colossus on the Templar out. If he had Storm, that's a completely different push. It totally gets thrown off by those storms. You can't run into storms.
Yeah, and there weren't any ghosts in the mix yet, so he definitely would have been pushed back. That would have given Crylogic more time to hold on to that third, and then, you know, once it gets real late game and you're even on upgrades, Protoss armies tend to trade a lot more cost effectively. So unfortunately, Crylogic was not able to get there. Patch stopped him before he could. So that's going to be 1-0 for BU. And we are going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to hop into game number 2. Is that right, Ferg?
That's it, man. We'll be back with more Collegiate Champions.
Alright guys, and welcome back to BU versus Princeton. We are hopping into game number 2 right now. Spawning here in the top right is going to be our green Protoss Voltaire playing for Princeton. And he's going to be going up against Nightstar spawning here in the bottom left as our blue Terran representing Boston University. So BU did go 1-up in that last game with some great play from Patch. And we do have another PvT on Cloud Kingdom. Ferg, let's talk about these guys.
You know, I'm pretty excited to see what happens. Voltaire's style is macro, get to the late game death ball, which, you know, as a Protoss player, I can't argue with. That's like running for president with a platform of free pizza. You
know what, Ferg? I have to commend you. I gave you some crap for your puns last week. it was well deserved, but you have been consistently plugging away today. You know, each attempt with just the same amount of effort, and some of them were making me laugh, Ferg. I gotta admit.
Thank you very much.
Look at us. We don't even need a happiness coordinator.
Anyway, what I was saying was, like running for president on a platform of free pizza, which is exactly what the Azubu Collegiate champions are giving you. If you show up at IPL 5, we are having an Azubu pizza party in Las Vegas. Of course, you can also participate from home at a different time by signing up. If you send a video to admin@cstarleague.com that says how much your team wants pizza, you could win, and we're giving away 10 free pizza parties to teams. Azubu, of course, is doing some great stuff, sponsoring pizza parties and teams, and players like Violet and Azubu, Blaze and Frost, and, of course, Azubu Collegiate champions this season with 318 teams and 318 schools and over 600 teams competing for a 5-month-long competition. It's pretty intense stuff, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing. Oh, actually, the probe got sniped from Nightstar. It's not really a big deal. He saw that there was no gas. But yeah, I'm actually excited to see some of the videos of teams saying how badly they want pizza. Pretty sure that's gonna get kind of silly, but
you just have nerds like crawling on their hands and knees towards a ramen bowl. Please, sir, I want some more.
Yeah, definitely going to be some interesting submissions. There's no doubt about that. So guys, be sure to do that. Onto this game real quick. Really standard. Nightstar is an up-and-coming player for BU. You know, he's been improving steadily, so they decided to start here. Excited to see his play. He's just going to go standard gases expand, it looks like. And Voltaire actually already has his Nexus down.
Yeah, he's sticking his Nexus out there.
Ooh, okay. What about this Sentry first, Ferg? What do you have to say about that?
He's definitely force fielding it.
Oh, that one was a little. I put you on the spot. You almost had it. And we do see the 2 racks fall up for Nightstar, so he's not going to do any kind of crazy quick tech to Banshees or anything like that. Just going to play nice and standard. And yeah, man. What do you think of PvT on Cloud Kingdom, Ferg?
I mean, we did see we saw PvZ on Cloud Kingdom, the Protoss player. Played pretty well, but he just got swallowed by the Zerg Swarm. Hopefully, the Terran doesn't learn how to swarm here as we get established. This is a pretty easily defensible map if you know what you're doing. You have to run up a ramp into most of the entrances to your 3 base kind of building block as you get to the late game. There is this backdoor expansion, which is vulnerable maybe to like a Zealot warp in, or, you know, a Hellion run by or something like that. But for the most part, it's a pretty easily defensible map.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And, you know, when this map first came out, Protosses, you know, ranging from tip-top Korean Protosses to pretty much anyone on ladder, were doing huge Colossus rushes on this map because it was so powerful.
Yeah.
But that has been phased out, and whoa, a bunch of SCVs pulled off the line by
Oh my gosh.
Is he going to go for an all-in here? And it looks like he's going to do
This was totally a fake expand right now. He's got that forward bump. He's abandoned it. He's moving out. That's a lot of Marines, a lot of SCVs. There's 2 sentries at home. He needs units. He does have Warp Gate completed, 3 Zealots on the way, but 5 units against an entire Terran all-in. Ooh, this could be bad right now, especially with SCVs to tank. They're going to eat up so much of that Zealot damage. Oh,
The one big advantage is that Voltaire scouted it very early and has 3 gates. A great first force field here. He's not going to get anything. He lost 1 SCV rather. Voltaire has his 3 gates up and he's chronoing them. So I mean, he's not out of it just yet. I mean, Nightstar is going to have to do some pretty good micro here, and these force fields are just so nice from Voltaire.
Yeah, it's exactly what he needs here to hold this off.
Oh, God.
You don't want to lose any units, though. He did already lose a Zealot. He's finally warping in more. Stalkers on the way. Cleaning up these units. Nightstar needs to get in there. He's now behind 10 supply. Picks off a nice Zealot there. But these probes can run back into the base, and now they're attacking. He's setting up bunkers, but these Zealots are doing a great job tanking. The Marines are forced to run away, and they are being picked off. These probes using that nice attack animation where they get to have fun in the sun. And Nightstar is losing a lot right now. Still down 10 supply. The Protoss army is, by and large, intact. There's only 4 Marines left here on the offensive. Continuing to try to push up. Oh my gosh. A nice force field there.
I can tell you Nightstar is not having a sunny day right now, man. His push did not do what he wanted it to do. I think his original plan is, since this is Cloud Kingdom, of course you can swing around the 3rd base and loop into the natural that way. But since the Stalker of Voltaire scouted it right off the bat, he figured he had to go right then and there and also push up the natural ramp. But it only takes 1 force field. So Voltaire was able to sit there and continually force field the Marines. And when you do this push, you usually want to loop around the 3rd into the natural. That way there, the Protoss has to spend 2 to 3 force fields each time. So in this case, Voltaire had just enough to get his 3 gates, you know, pumping continuous units, and now Nightstar is in a rough spot. The Nexus is pretty much untouched. The worker count is favoring our Protoss player by a pretty significant margin.
Yeah, and Voltaire is going to have a 6 gate very, very soon. He has a Stalker who is harassing all of the reinforcements trying to come out of here. He's ahead 20 supply. He's got... Does he have a forward pylon somewhere? No, it's just in the front of his base. But if he wants a 6 gate, he totally can right now, and there would not be too much to stop it. Unfortunately, losing a Zealot right there, but cleaning up the entire bunker and Marine army. Those Marines were huddled in there, having a bad day, and it just got worse.
They probably were pretty pissed off. I mean, there was honestly, that bunker was not going to accomplish anything, so they were probably just sitting there feeling very, betrayed. They're not even scouting, they're not even doing anything, they were just left there to die. It was like not really an ideal scenario. We do see actually a Stalker poking up into the natural here. Good micro from Voltaire, keeping that 1 Stalker alive, keeping both Stalkers alive.
Oh, huge
just charging in.
Oh, all of these Marines are vulnerable now. The Zealots are getting in here and absolutely cleaning things up. There's only a handful of Marines left now. That was absolutely clutch force fields right there.
Those are the ballsiest sentries I've ever seen. They literally charged in head first into Marines, and they lived. Just goes to show you how many sentries Voltaire had, and Guardian Shield's actually really, really good at this stage in the game, of course. We do see Voltaire shredding through Nightstar, and LGG comes out from our BU players, so it is now tied up 1-1, Ferg.
Yeah, those sentries were so manly, you can call them mentries, man. That was pretty good.
Not sure about that one. I don't know.
Okay.
So coming up, guys, we would normally have our 2v2 game, but unfortunately in this case, it was a forfeit. So we're going to be going straight into game number 4, and we'll be right back with that game, Ferg.
Yeah, we'll be back with the Azubu Collegiate Champions, brought to you by Azubu, a great sponsor of all esports-related things. See you soon.
Alright guys, and welcome back to BU versus Princeton. And BU did end up getting a walkover in the 2v2, so we are hopping straight into game number 4. It's going to be a ZVZ between Saganism spawning here in the top position as our yellow Zerg playing for BU, and he's going to be going up against Lightning spawning here in the bottom as our blue Zerg representing Princeton. Berg, this is a ZVZ on Metropolis. What do you think is going to happen?
I think all sorts of crazy things are going to happen, man. This map has always seemed a little bit off to me. It's like that weird cousin who shows up asking to borrow your Sega Genesis, and just like that, Saganism has thrown down a spawning pool very early in the game. He is going for an all-in, man. He is that cousin just wanting to borrow your Sega Genesis out of the blue, man. And he's going to ask to borrow Saganism's skill right now.
Wait, so was the Sega Genesis meant to be in reference to Saganism? Was it like the words themselves, or?
No, I actually had a cousin who would show up and borrow Sega Genesis games.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify there.
But that was a real life story that happened to me.
Wow.
And yeah, so this is gonna be one of those early games that makes absolutely no sense. 6 Lings already on the way to Lightning's base. Lightning's going to have to hold it, and it looks like he is throwing down a hatchery. He is not even going to build a spawning pool right now. He has absolutely no scout, and of course this map is huge. It's almost impossible to scout in time for this kind of thing to hit, and it looks like there's even a drone moving forward to put down a spine crawler. So this could be a pretty short game. Lightning's going to have to do a drone hold.
Yeah, well that's exactly why he went 6 bullets. I mean, you're gonna assume that 90% of the Zergs that you're gonna play against are gonna go hatch first, just because it usually is very safe on this map. Even something like a 10 pool, have a hard time doing too much damage on this map, but instead it's a 6 pool. It's a flat out 6 pool. Lightning does see it and immediately cancels his hatchery, but even still, his spawning pool is only 25% of the way done. There goes the first spine crawler for Saganism, so Lightning's gonna have to stop that, otherwise it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, and dancing right now, Saganism does have a bunch of Lings right now. He does have a nice surround there, forcing a cancel on the spine crawler. We do have Saganism. What I really liked there was he used a extractor trick to get out an extra couple of Lings, and he is doing quite a bit of damage. But unfortunately, the spine crawler is just not getting up at all. These Lings are doing a lot of damage, though.
He has held on to that drone, though. He's kept it alive this entire time. He keeps continually canceling and rebuilding that spine crawler, so Lightning is getting worn down bit by bit. And that spine crawler is now halfway done, and Lightning is not able to really get to it. And if that spine crawler finishes, that is pretty much the end of our blue Zerg player. And the end for Princeton, really.
There is a queen on the way, and a couple of Lings for Lightning. Will it come out in time? It looks like the spine crawler is definitely going to finish as all these roaches are running, all these drones, sorry, are running away. Another one goes down there. Lings are having a very nice day. Yeah, I know, Roach is coming out. But the spine crawler is finished now, picking away at the spawning pool. So unfortunately, great position for Saganism, and Lightning is now behind in supply for the first time in the game. The queen, though, is going to be able to do a lot of damage, but you know what? Lightning can't mine at all.
Yeah, this is a good spot for a second. Lightning has done a really good job trying to stay in this. He denied the spine crawler twice, but third time was the charm here, and that looks like it is going to go down. And that spine crawler is still at half health with Lings out on the field, and GG does come out from Lightning. That is going to be a 3-1 for BU, Ferg.
Yeah, and you know what? That spine crawler just had too much health. He could not do enough damage to that spine crawler with what units he had. Unfortunately, pretty crazy, you know? Your cousin comes over, he takes the Sega Genesis game, and he never gives it back. And you live the rest of your life with never beating Lion King on
Yeah,
Sega Genesis.
And then he comes over a couple weeks later and he said, I beat Lion King. That game was really cool. And that's it.
God, I hate that guy. So this was a very quick final game here as Princeton loses 3-1.
That's right. That's right. You did end up taking that victory 3-1. Great PVTs. Just great macro coming out from Patch, our BU Terran, and Saganism with just a great metagame build. You would never expect a 6-pool on Metropolis. It's such a big map. Yeah, exactly. So trying to play a little bit of mind games, and ends up paying off big time. And it ends up being a victory for BU.
Yeah, so this was the Azubu Collegiate Champions Week 3, Day 2. Of course, we did have Drexel University against Ohio State earlier today. This was Boston versus Princeton. We will be back next week, Monday and Tuesday for StarCraft 2. You can tune in Wednesday and Thursday for League of Legends here at the Collegiate Champions. Again, Azubu is our main sponsor. They're doing such a good job sponsoring esports. They got Azubu Frost, Azubu Blaze for League of Legends. They're sponsoring OGN League of Legends. They sponsor the StarCraft 2 player Violet, Dr. Zerg, man. That was pretty cool. MLG, where he had that mask on. The Azubu Collegiate Champions with the Collegiate Star League is over 318 universities with over 600 teams. It's actually pretty crazy big. We have a couple of promotions going on right now. We're throwing pizza parties for 10 lucky teams if you send in a video saying why your team deserves a pizza party to admin@cstarleague.com. You could have a chance to win. Of course, we post those videos up if you want to get some stuff. I saw one of the pizza videos actually get pretty high on the Reddit sub-forum for r/StarCraft. We are also giving away Heart of the Swarm beta keys if you send in a picture or a link of your team being featured in your school newspaper. You could have a chance to win. It's called Hots Off the Presses. There's another pun for you, man.
Did you write that? Are you sure?
I didn't write that.
You wrote that. You wrote that. Come on.
We're also hiring, if you guys are interested in being writers, graphic artists, or a happiness coordinator for CSL StarCraft, we are also hiring for League of Legends division. We have openings for writers, match assistants, and for social media coordinators. And finally, if you come to IPL 5, we're having an Azubu pizza party live in Las Vegas at IPL 5. You can find out all about that information and more at cstarleague.com. Of course, you can also visit Azubu at azubu.com. Follow CStarleague at facebook.com/CStarleague. You can also find us at Twitter at the same address. You can find Azubu at facebook.com/Azubu Media. Finally, I'm AlphaFerg. You can follow me at twitter.com/AlphaFerg. My co-caster is Chris. You can follow him at twitter.com/SinecoSC2. I think that's it, Chris.
That's it. You're so close. Ferg, you literally went the entire plug and nailed everything, but I think it's SC.
SinecoSC?
Yeah. Unless I got my own Twitter wrong, which would be pretty embarrassing.
That would be pretty embarrassing.
Either way, one a phenomenal job just plugging all of that. That was just so well done. Be sure to submit your videos for the pizza party. If you're in Vegas and you want to have some pizza, I mean, IPL is where to go. And once again, I am Chris Messer, and we will be back next week, Monday and Tuesday, with some StarCraft 2. So I will see you guys then.
Yep. It's AlphaFerg. See you guys later.